Hi, Sarah here with a layout process video for you today. This one is for Crafty Ribbons for the design team. I took my inspiration from the really cute chicken ribbon that you just saw there, and I had a picture of my little boy. We visited a farm and they had loads of free range bright red chickens. They were awesome, and there was just loads of them all, really tame and coming up to everyone. So I decided to do that photo for this layout. And to begin with here, I'm just adding some feathers to go either down the side or along the bottom of my page, depending which way I decide to do it. So first off, I've added some Versamark ink, and now I'm sprinkling some clear powder over the top, and then I will melt this with my heat tool, which will then create a resist, so when I add my ink on top, the feathers should stay white. I'll leave links below for the ribbon where you can purchase it from in the shop, and I'll also leave you a link to the kit I'm using today, which is by Mine the Scrap. This specific kit I do believe may be out of stock now, but I will leave a link to the shop anyway so you know where you can get them from. So first off, I'm using some distress oxides. I'm loving these. I love how pigmented, is that the right word, they are, and they blend beautifully. So I've sped this up a lot so that I could fit the whole process in. So you can see what I do is I start with the lightest colour, add it where I want it, then I add the orange, and then I come in with the red afterwards, because it's really strong and it's a bit harder to blend. Each colour seems to have a little behave slightly differently, even though they're the same product. And as you can see now, I'm coming back in with some orange and then back with yellow, and I'm just trying to make sure that they all blend nicely together. And I'm not too worried about it looking too perfect, because now I'm adding water. I add loads of water to this and then just leave it to dry, and you get those lovely bleached out effects, which goes really well with the feathers as well. And now I just want to add a little bit of sparkle, so I'm using this Lindy Stamp Gang spray, which is a sort of two-tone golden orangey yellow colour. It's a really lovely colour and it shimmers in the light. So I leave that all to dry and then work on my papers. I want a really nice ruffled edge to my paper cluster. So first off, I'm just trimming down my photo, getting rid of the edges, and then I do back it onto some blue first to help the picture of my boy stand out so that he doesn't get lost in amongst all the orange, to try and make him stand out. So I wanted to use a colour that matched in with his jumper and his wellies there. And now for all the other layers, I'm ripping apart my pages, my pieces of paper, so that they're nice and ruffled, lovely rough edges to everything. I wanted loads of texture. And so first off, I'm going to stick down my photo. I decided to trim it a bit because I decided that the frame was a little too thick. And I do ruffle up the edges of that as well, so it all matches in. I want to add in a bit of solid orange in there, and then I wanted to add that floral as well. So all I've got there is just a cluster of loads of papers that all go with the photograph in the background, and I add a strip off my ribbon across the page. And now I'm building a bow with my no-sew method, mainly because I can't sew, and I basically use red line tape and staples, and there is a staple mark in the middle, but you'll see how I cover that up later on. And now I'm just ruffling up my pages, making sure I like how the edges are, trimming off any bits that I think are too thick, and then between the layers I add thin foam. I really like to have quite a lot of dimension, but with this it's not too much dimension, so as it won't fit into a sleeve for an album. And so I just layer it up, and every now and then I just add some thin foam, and I just felt like it needed a bit more of that flowery paper on the opposite side, so I just stick a little bit of that down. And now this is the back of my photo, and I will glue that down afterwards. So the other bits I want to add, I have got some ephemera which came in the same kit, but I also decided to die cut out some feathers. I'm just showing you one here. I do use foam on my die cut machine sometimes, depending on the die, just so that it cuts better. And so I've cut out a few of those. Now I'm just going to stick down this ribbon, so basically turning it into washi by just adding adhesive to the back, but obviously it's still got that lovely ribbon texture rather than it being flat like paper. And now I do speed this bit up quite a lot as well. I've got lots of ephemera and feathers, and I'm just trimming bits apart, tucking them all in. And I always do this. I don't always film the whole lot though, but I decided I would this time just so you can see how much time I do actually faff around. This is sped up so much so that it doesn't take quite so long. And there's some little helping hands there as well, mixing up my stuff. And so as you can see, I'm just tucking things in, moving them around. I do move the feathers around so that to try and get them contrasting with what other papers are around them. And I just took in lots and lots of foliage, I guess you call it, to try and make it look a little bit wild. And then I'm using my gloss gel medium to stick these down. It's such a strong glue, you literally need a tiny bit, and it means that I can just tuck in my embellishments and they will hold, and it means I can have them sticking out, and not everything has to be flat stuck down, which is really handy. And so I'm just tucking all these in place where they all are. I don't show every single one of these because obviously it took me a while, and I just work from the back to front so that they're all in the same place, and I just tuck them in one at a time. Just adding my title there, which is the name of the farm. And I've also got that butterfly, which I will add eventually, but I wanted to add everything else first and then place the butterfly where I felt it worked best. I've got some rainbow resins here. I will leave a link to this shop as well. She makes gorgeous little floral resins that work perfectly on layouts. And I've chosen some orange and yellow and put one on the centre of my bow, and that will cover up the staples. And again, I'm going to use my gel medium as well because this does work on fabric because it dries as a gel, so it doesn't soak in. You just have to leave it quite a lot of time before it is dry, but it dries. Once it's stuck, it is stuck. And I just added a little dimension with that butterfly, and I believe I'm done. So thanks for joining me today. Please do check out Crafty Ribbons and head on over to the Facebook group where you can join in competitions, and I'll see you next time. Please do like and subscribe if you'd like to see more from me. Bye!